The Dwayne Rock Johnson. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The Rock John Dwayneson. Damn it. Okay, fine. The Rock, a.k.a. Dwayne Johnson. Finally, did it right. Son of famed groundbreaking wrestler Rocky Johnson. And grandson of Peter Maivia, a.k.a. High Chief Peter Maivia. Basically, like, one of the most well-known people in the world. You know who The Rock is. I know who The Rock is. Hell, my nephews know who The Rock is. My dad knows who The Rock is. My grandma knows who The Rock is. The man is basically just like one of the most popular human beings ever to exist. And when you see his feed of just like going places and like doing stuff, and the fact that he says he only gets like 4 hours of sleep a night because he's just so busy all the time and everything. And he has carved himself out a large piece of Hollywood because, let's see, there we are, and net worth, there we go. Yeah, the man is said to be worth, as of right now, $800 million. Although other reports put it closer to $300 million, but hey, what's a few $100 million, am I right?
From what I've seen, these Googles of your net worth or whatever, you know, I've seen like a lot of celebrities and people Google themselves and find out what it says their net worth is. But
yeah.
At least, like, I watched, the guys from Sunny did it on their podcast, and they were all like, yeah, that's not accurate at all.
Well, net worth...
They're all like, I wish.
Well, net worth doesn't necessarily mean, like, that's the amount you have in the bank. That means, like, total assets and everything. Yeah. Like, here's the thing.
It's basically like if they sold their show to someone else.
Oh, yes.
Then...
Well, and not only that, but...
It would net them that much money.
Not only that, but also smart, savvy investments like, Rob McElhenney going into Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds now, and the fact that Wrexham has now gone up 2 leagues and is now, like, in, like, the league where hundreds of millions of dollars are passed around. Like, if they were to sell their club off right now, they would make out like bandits. They would literally get like a severance check by the Champions League for, I think, $30 million apiece. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. But the fact that their investment, like, let's see, Rob McElhenney, there he is, net worth. Yeah, around $50 million. Co-owner of a Welsh soccer team, Wrexham AFC. Also, executive producer of Always Sunny. That's the thing. He's also a producer. And every time Always Sunny is played in syndication, whether that be on Hulu, whether that be on FX, whether that be on TBS, TNT, whoever, like, options it, he always gets a paycheck from that. Every single time.
You're welcome, Rob.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because I fucking put it on Hulu, like, every damn night.
Yes.
The only time I don't is if I'm watching King of the Hill instead. So.
Yeah. What about D? Let's see.
It's always on while I'm sleeping, so he always makes money for me every night.
Let's see. What about Charlie?
Charlie Day.
Yeah, there he is. I was wondering if he was on here. There he is. $30 million. And he's...
Yeah, he was like, no. Whenever he Googled his worth, he's like, I wish, basically.
Well, no, in terms of his net worth, if he sold his stake in Always Sunny,
yeah,
and if he basically... also his music career and all the films that he's been in, I guarantee you net worth, he might be worth around $30 million, but maybe not as much. How about Glenn? $25 million. Glenn, I'd probably say. What about Caitlyn? Well, that's no surprise. I mean,
she's married to Rob, so
yeah,
I think
her
they
and
kind
Rob
of
are
put couples together as well.
Yes.
What about Danny DeVito?
Oh, Danny D? Let's see what old Dan... there he is. Well, that doesn't surprise me either. He's been in Hollywood. He's been in Hollywood a long time, and he is, as a director and a producer of his own films, which have been fairly successful in his own right. Matilda was successful. War of the Roses was successful. The dude's had some successes. Oh, what about Rhea? Rhea, yep, she's worth just about as much because she co-produced a lot of the films with Danny. Oh gosh, Shelley, Taylor Swift. What do we want? Yeah, almost $1 billion.
Damn.
I'm surprised it's not $1 billion. Beyonce Knowles, $600 million. Damn, I wish she was still single. How about Scarlett Johansson, $165 million. Sofia Vergara, $180 million. Jesus Christ. Oh, Reese Witherspoon, $400 million. Not surprising given her investments. What about, oh God, Kerry Washington? $50 million, not bad.
Okay, what were we supposed to be?
Sorry, yeah.
Video or something?
No, The Rock. I'm just like.
What did The Rock do? Like, what happened?
Well, he's made some mistakes. Shonda Rhimes doesn't surprise me. Grey's Anatomy. So The Rock has basically made some very big, costly mistakes over the last couple of years, and it's cost him a lot of bad PR, and including what was almost a huge mistake with his return to wrestling, because after the Royal Rumble this year, The Rock made a surprise return on Raw the next night. Cody Rhodes, who won the Royal Rumble and was guaranteed a spot against Roman Reigns, the champion at WrestleMania, who he fought he fought last year and lost, but fought his way back into the Royal Rumble and won again, and is the crowd, everybody loves Cody. Cody is that white meat baby face that just everybody loves. The day after the Royal Rumble and Cody chooses to face Roman, The Rock comes out and he looks at Cody, and Cody's just it's time for me to step aside and just let this man handle it. And he basically just let The Rock have his spot going into WrestleMania. The internet lost its collective marbles. Just they went ape shit. And The Rock, who was one of the most popular, most well-loved human beings in the world, is now all of a sudden everyone's enemy. Because he comes back into the company. He buys a stake into TKO, the company that owns WWE, and he puts himself in the main event of WrestleMania against his cousin, Roman Reigns.
See, my old assistant manager from the music store was a big wrestling fan, and all I really knew before I hung out with you was stuff that he told me. He fucking hated The Rock. He said the reason why was that CM Punk was basically set to be the winner versus The Rock and everything, and they changed their minds last minute just to promote his fucking Fast and the Furious movie, and also his rematch with John Cena at the WrestleMania in 2014. No, it was 2020. I forget which WrestleMania it was, but John Cena and The Rock had a match at one WrestleMania, and it was considered one of the biggest spectacle matches ever. And then they ran it back the next year with John Cena winning the Royal Rumble, and no, I don't think Cena won the Royal Rumble. I think Cena won the Elimination Chamber match to get a spot against The Rock. And they basically, The Rock went up against CM Punk at the Royal Rumble, and The Rock won. And basically that pissed a lot of people off, because CM Punk was the biggest thing in the sport at that point. He was white hot in terms of, popularity. And CM Punk said, okay, Vince, I will do you this favor. I will give the belt to The Rock. I will give it to him and do this, but you know what I want. I want a guaranteed main event at WrestleMania. And the next year, they had CM Punk booked against Triple H in a main event at WrestleMania. And main event what's the main event at a show? The last one.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Punk was right about this. He said, Vince, you can see there's 4 main events at WrestleMania. No, there is one main event. It is the last match of the night. I wanted that, and you took that from me. I jobbed to Dwayne when I was white hot. I was on top of the world. I could have held the belt for another year, and you would have still sold shirts at the wazoo. You'd have sold out every arena from here to Timbuktu. But yet you had to put Dwayne over because you wanted his movie. You wanted him to the income from that coming in. I get that. It's a business. I understand. But for me, as a professional wrestler who's been doing this solid and has been your champion now for the last year plus and has never missed a day, has never complained once, I at least want you to give me this. And Vince was just like, I can't give you that. I can't give him like we've already set these plans in motion. And then CM Punk was like, okay, I'm going home. Bye. And then before he left, Vince walked up and gave Punk a hug, and he said that he's sorry business couldn't work out. Then Punk left the room, waved bye, and that was that. And then here he is 10 years later, and he's back. He's back in WWE. Vince is no longer in the picture, and now Punk is a lot of people said Punk wouldn't work with WWE again because Triple H is involved, but Triple H, since he had his heart problems, he's calmed down a lot and he's checked his ego, and he realizes that he is not going to be a wrestler. He's not a wrestler anymore. But The Rock being back in WWE now, it's painted him in a different light. And he's seen now as the evil boss character, he called himself at WrestleMania. He called himself the final boss, like a video game, the final boss. And yeah, in his entrance and his aura and everything that he's giving off now, he's giving off final boss energy. But it's performance. It's performance art. I still think Dwayne at heart's a good person. He's just living the part right now. Anyway, but Sonny B2 has a video talking about The Rock's fall and why The Rock is losing thousands of fans per hour. Why? Let's see if Sonny gets it right.
The Rock just made WrestleMania's most disliked video ever,
That's
and through some terrible podcast appearances, a completely out-of-touch fundraiser, and his reputation as a walking, talking advertisement, the world's fakest celebrity has, for the first time ever, seen a fall in Instagram followers. But the biggest contributor might be his endless list of lies on everything from his movie earnings to fast food consumption. For example, back in 2017, The Rock posted this photo to his Instagram claiming, "I've never been to In-N-Out before," which didn't seem all that serious until roughly 5 years later, when in August 2022 he'd post the following video.
This is the very first time that I have ever tried an In-N-Out burger, or In-N-Out fries, or anything from In-N-Out for that matter.
He'd therefore claimed for a second time it was my first ever time eating In-N-Out, yet he might not have been guilty given he'd also said this.
Now, I've picked up some In-N-Out burger before for some buddies of mine. I've never tried it, so this is a first.
That would be until December 2023, when The Rock claimed for a third time he...
Maybe he just doesn't go often enough that he keeps fucking forgetting he's been.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Given how busy his life is, I could be surprised if he forgets, a year ago just over a year ago, I went to In-N-Out Burger. I guarantee you, he's got so much going on.
I will say, guys, I don't know anything about The Rock's mental state or anything. I don't know if he has any kind of,
So far, he hasn't shown any signs of
any
CTE.
neurodivergence or anything at all. I don't know what he's got going on. He could have a bit of ADHD. Who knows? I really don't know. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying could be going on. I'm just saying.
I don't doubt it.
Me personally, with my ADHD and my shit memory, I have actually told people before, yeah, I've never actually done this thing, and then I've actually had people with me that were just like, yeah, you have, and I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, remember I went with you. God. We did this thing. And I was like, holy shit, I completely forgot about that.
Oh my God.
That's actually a thing. People can forget that they've done shit before if they don't do it. You want to know
the funniest one? That it literally happened down here. It was the last time Micah was up here. Me and him and Kate were sitting down here, and we were going through old videos, and we came across, when we hit 50 subs, not 50,000, 50. 50. So, when we hit 50 subs, I shaved my head. And do you know who shaved my head? Micah. Do you know what Micah said as soon as he saw that video? He's like, oh yeah, that's where you cut your hair. And I'm like, no, you shaved my hair. He's like, dude, I have never shaved your hair. I'm like, Micah, you've shaved my hair. And he's like, no, I've never shaved your hair. All of a sudden, I'm like, all right, click on the video, and there he is. He has the clippers in hand, and he starts shaving my hair. He's like, I can't believe I completely forgot about it. And that's the thing. Mike is just like, jeez, man. It's like that's how long it's been. I've literally forgotten. You could have told me this. I could have sworn under oath, and then you could have came in and be like, Micah, here is literal physical evidence of you shaving my hair. And then I'd have been like, that ain't me.
He'd had my first In-N-Out burger experience, also pretending like he'd never even tried fast food before. I didn't know the lingo, didn't know who to pay, where to pay, didn't know shit, before adding some self-congratulatory comments about leaving a massive tip. This led to mainstream media articles and a 6 million view Penguin Zero video.
This is the third time he's done it. He keeps pretending that he's trying In-N-Out for the first time every couple of years. The other 2 videos are still on your Instagram page.
Yeah, get him,
Rock to
Charlie.
change his description by adding my first ever In-N-Out burger experience again. Thanks
This to
the
me
fans
doesn't
for
make me
reminding that I
dislike him.
went
This
to
is just
In-N-Out.
It
funny to me.
is.
It's just like
It is.
He's either like very forgetful or he's kind of an idiot. Like,
Well, the Rock himself has said this before. In terms of business sense, he has like he's a marketing genius in terms of like his approachability, his persona. The guy gives off a great thing you want to be a part of. It's like, oh, he's part of this, I want to be a part of that. But in terms of like him being like aware and socially aware of everything going on around him, he's a bit off with that. Not to say that he's not good with people. He's great with people. Like, he never ever shies away from like giving a kid an autograph. He always does his best to try and be the Rock for all the kids and all the fans out there. Like me, if I met him in real life and I was like, Mr. Johnson. Like, I actually saw this one cool interaction he had with a kid. The dad was like, Mr. Johnson, like, my son, hey, check out what my son can do. And his son did like the eyebrow raise, like the right eyebrow, just like the Rock does. And he's just like, it's like, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? And then the Rock comes over, he's like, oh, that's sweet. Hey, it's like, hey, y'all got a shirt? I'll sign one for you. And then they were just like, Mr. Johnson, no, we spent all our money getting here. He's like, oh, okay. And then he like snaps his fingers at for one of his assistants. He's like, hey, bring me one of my shirts. One of my workout shirts. Bring it over. And like it had like his workout shirt with like his logo on it and everything. He gets a pen, he signs it. He's just like, what's your name, son? And he's like, Brian. He's like, Brian, okay. Signs it and just like, here you go, kid. And the dad like puts out his hand, like the Rock shakes his hand, like grips his hand, just like, hey, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for coming out. And then like, dude, that like, once again, you can be a doof. Like, I'm a goof, all right? I forget shit all the time too. I'm absent-minded when it comes to certain things. This shit happens. But again, I don't think The Rock is like one of the worst people because
I could just totally see him like it's kind of like meeting that one guy like one time, and then you go other places and do other things for a very long period of time, like a couple of years or something like that, and then you meet that one guy again, and you're all like, "You look familiar." Like, it's like, oh yeah, like
well, and
maybe if he doesn't live where there are In-N-Outs and he doesn't think about it on a regular basis, like he might have just completely spaced and been like, I swear I've never tried this place before.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Like I could give him the benefit of the doubt on it, but I think at the same time, like it could also just be some kind of stupid joke he's doing.
Maybe.
Just be like, it'd be funny if just every time I am somewhere that has an In-N-Out, I do this thing. It's like, this is the first time I've ever eaten In-N-Out. It could be funny.
First time I've ever eaten In-N-Out burger. This gonna be delicious.
Yeah. Years ago and totally forgot about it, but there was another lie that did way more damage. Black Adam was released in December 2022.
I heard
now this,
multiple things about the Black Adam situation that kind of didn't sound very cool.
Now this is more unforgivable. Like, here's the thing. I'll let Sonny get into it.
After its theater run ended, Insider published an article reading, "Box office bust, Black Adam faces theatrical losses." The article explained that the film needed to earn around $600 million worldwide to break even. Yet box office experts believe Black Adam will stall out with less than 400 million globally. Now the movie stands to lose 50 million to 100 million in its theatrical run, although only 3 days later The Rock was saying the opposite. Waited to confirm with financiers before I shared this excellent Black Adam news. Our film will profit between 52 and 72 million, fact. Also attaching a Deadline article which stated, there's some snarking going on out there that Black Adam is poised to lose 50M to 100M, and that is simply just not true. The movie is bound to break even and be in the black. Well, it turns out this article was written with false information that The Rock had personally leaked to the journalist to make his film seem profitable. After 25 years, we finally found out what The Rock is cooking: the books. But the thing that's really cooking his reputation is perhaps the cooking itself, as The Rock's longest running and most off-putting lies are on the topic of diet and exercise. For example, The Rock claimed to be eating a suspicious amount of food.
Anywhere between 6 to, well, I would say possible, almost 8,000 calories a day.
Which was quickly shut down by Greg Doucette.
There is no way The Rock burns off enough calories to average 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day and look like this. If he actually ate those kind of calories, 6,000 to 8,000 a day, he would be 100 pounds overweight.
Who went through The Rock's entire daily diet before adding this.
He described about 3,000 calories, maybe, but where do we get the 6,000 to 8,000 total calories?
The Rock also uploaded a raw uncut leg workout, which he called intense and unlike anything I've ever done, which Greg went on to criticize.
But look at the grimaces on his face. Notice how hard he seems to be pushing. This is 2 plates on each side. A man of The Rock's stature, size, and strength, I would believe that this would be a cakewalk. Many bikini competitors could lift this much weight. And I'm not trying to strength shame him here, but I believe that you're lying when you say that this kicked your ass. There is no way that this was difficult for you.
Highlighting The Rock's most notable lie of all.
There's not a fucking chance in hell he's clean.
No.
Not a chance in hell. As big as The Rock is, at 50.
On the topic of steroids, Johnson has said he hasn't touched them since he was 18.
Yeah, nobody believes that.
Well, now here's the thing. There's a well-known side effect to taking steroids for some people out there. It is a side effect that affects some people. Do you know what it is called? Gigantomastia. Do you know what that is? Gigantism of the boobs. It's basically an enlargement of the breast tissue caused by steroid use. The Rock, during a certain segment of his time in WWE when he was like 24, 25, he was wearing a button-up shirt during his matches. The reason why he covered that up was because he had surgery to remove tissue from under his breasts that had enlarged because steroid use. And this was when he was in his 20s. Not 8. He said, I haven't touched them since I was 18. It's just like, no, you've touched them. I mean, the evidence is all there, bro. I hate to say it. Like, there's shit that he can be called out on like this, and hopefully he will eventually just come out and just say it one day. Like, there's nothing wrong with admitting you did steroids, dude. There's nothing wrong with it. You're huge. Just be honest with yourself.
When he tried them before college. Sure, you get a lot of people out there who will suspect and say shit. They want to negate the hard work you put in.
And not to say you didn't do hard work, because just injecting steroids doesn't make you big.
Yeah, you don't turn into that just by using the steroids.
No, you have to work your ass off. Now, I'm not saying The Rock doesn't work his ass off. I mean, I've seen videos of him in the gym, like, working his ass off, doing hard workouts, and yeah, the dude, like, doesn't cut corners. But he knows that in order to be as big as he wants to be, he needs a little help. There's nothing wrong with admitting to it. I guarantee you The Rock's on TRT. I guarantee you he's on testosterone replacement therapy. And
I'd say the main reason
now
that he's probably not wanting to admit to it is just because of the huge fucking stigma that it has. Like, it's not considered socially acceptable to be on performance-enhancing drugs.
Well, that would be...
Even if you're not in, like, a legitimate, like, professional... I mean, a lot of people are going to be pissed at me probably for saying this, but if you're not in a legitimate professional sport...
Well,
like,
I'm not going to say
it's
that...
still got a stigma behind it, and people would look down on you for doing it. You know?
Here's what I will say about that. I will say that when it comes to wrestling, it is a different type of athletics than professional professional sports. As someone who's been in the ring and has taken the hits and has fallen out of the ring and has ran around the ring like a madman, like helping my guy out, there is a sense of athleticism to it that you need. And like these dudes who are in the ring, like Marcus, Sledge, Buggy, Chad, like heck, even the low workers like Alan Brody, like those guys have to be in shape. And like you want a perfect evidence of this. WrestleMania 11, Lawrence Taylor, like the Lawrence Taylor, LT, one of the greatest athletic freaks ever in NFL history, decided, hey, I'm going to be in a wrestling match because it can't be that hard. And he goes up against Bam Bam Bigelow. And Lawrence Taylor does a great job in that match. But after that one match, Lawrence Taylor is backstage sitting next to Vince McMahon trying to do an interview, and he passes out from being so exhausted from just like a 15-minute match. Versus watching Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada go an hour and a half. These dude, like, it's a different kind of animal, dude. It is. There's no getting around, like it's not, but being, in terms of performance-enhancing drugs, I'm not against someone taking, stuff that won't have a very bad detriment on their health, like EPO or something like that, that helps with your blood platelets and keeps your cardiovascular system in good health. I'm not against stuff like that. I am against, using, the bulk-up drugs that can, fuck up your testosterone levels and to lead to you having testicular cancer or gigantomastia like The Rock did.
I mean, for me, it's kind of it's not that different than, cigarettes and shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's like cigarettes can give you cancer. Lung cancer is arguably worse to have than testicle cancer or something like that. But
well, yeah, but
it's their choice if they want to do it, in my opinion. It's just obviously you shouldn't be allowed to compete in legitimate professional competitions against other people that are not using those kinds of things, because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're in a situation where, I think with WWE it's kind of understandable because to an extent it's performance art.
Yes.
And that's just what you want to look like. I don't entirely blame you.
Yeah, and
but I mean, as long as you're okay with the fact that you're probably cutting your life hella short by doing that shit all the time.
Yeah. Well,
it's like The Rock probably, if he actually is on steroids, will not be around into his late 70s 60s. Or 80s. You know?
Yeah. Late 60s, he'll probably start having problems with his heart, because that's what happened to Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper admitted to using steroids as much as he did, and he was in that Always Sunny episode, remember? And Roddy Piper himself said, I will not live to see 70, because he knew his heart, the condition of his heart, unless he had a full heart replacement because of the damage he did to his heart because he did steroids. He said, I will not live to see 70, and he didn't. He lived to be 67, I think. But still, when you look at the history of Roddy Piper and what he accomplished, the man's one of the greatest ever to do it.
I think it was the last Sonny V2 video we watched, people who passed away as legends on
Rich Payana.
YouTube. Yeah, and how the steroids fucked him up so bad and everything.
Well, once again, he had way too much bulk on him, and it caused his heart to fail. And here's the thing, there are corrective surgeries that you can have on your heart, because basically, when you take steroids, it can cause a buildup of scar tissue on one end of your heart, and basically what they can do is they can just draw an additional valve, additional support to sides of your heart. They do it for blue babies all the time. You've heard the blue babies that are born with heart problems, and then they have to do a quadruple bypass in order to give their heart enough oxygen to where they can live. Basically, it's the same concept as that, but if the damage is too bad, then they have to do a full replacement. But once again, Rich Payana, he was just caught up in his own stuff, and he didn't want to get help, and that's wrong. I mean, the dude died because of it, and that sucks, because Rich actually seemed like a nice guy.
Although it's strange to see him only getting bigger, despite now being into his 50s. Eddie Hall gave his voice on what Dwayne might be using.
I would believe that The Rock would be on TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy.
Exactly.
A very good thing to do. It's actually very good for you, very healthy for you.
While Joe Rogan theorized he was probably using more.
You can't even get there with HRT. That's not HRT.
Which was again echoed by Greg Doucette.
Not only do I not think he's natural, I don't think he's on HRT. I think he's on the kitchen sink. Whatever he can take.
Really?
I think he's on all of it and then some. You don't get big like that into your 50s compared to your 40s and 30s. Like you see some photos of him in his 30s, he's way bigger and leaner now.
This has helped him to earn the following title.
The Rock is the fakest celebrity in Hollywood.
And nothing.
Incorrect. I don't agree. I love you, Charlie, but I do not agree with that in the slightest. There are so
Not since
many.
Steven Seagal exists.
Oh, no, dude. Fakest, yeah, exactly. That's what I would say. Charlie, Steven Seagal exists, and so many more other fake motherfuckers out there who act like they're something when they're truly not.
But to be honest, let's be honest, basically everyone in Hollywood is in some way fake.
Yes. The Rock's no different.
There are only a few people in Hollywood that I would be willing to believe aren't really fake, but everyone has a public image that they put on, and it's not anything like what they are if you know them like in a private setting. And once you get to Hollywood, your idea of being in a private setting basically goes out the window, so you're always going to be somewhat fake because you're always going to be worried about your public image no matter where you're at and who you're with and what doors you're behind.
This is true. This is very, very true.
But I mean, I really don't think I don't agree either that he's the fakest because I've seen Steven Seagal's bullshit.
Yeah, so. And Hulk Hogan too. Hulk Hogan. Oh my God, the amount of you think The Rock's lies are bad? Hulk Hogan. Like if The Rock is here, Hulk Hogan is like, actually through my shoulder.
Dislocate your shoulder, bro.
Well, I wanted to get as high as I could. I'm just joking. I didn't actually throw my shoulder out.
I feel that.
But like The Rock, like. If The Rock is here, Hogan's at the ceiling, and if you can't see, this is like 10 feet ceilings we got. So, The Rock is if The Rock is like told some white lies and a few here and there, Hulk Hogan is basically the king of lying.
Nothing solidified this harder than The Rock's recent Joe Rogan episode. I was very hyped for this podcast, but it was honestly quite boring. Rock unironically has some serious politician traits with how he takes the middle road and nods his way through anything potentially controversial Joe would say. As mentioned, The Rock tiptoed through the entire episode.
You could tell The Rock just did not want to give his opinion on anything, and he's walking on eggshells. You know, he's definitely worried about saying anything controversial or getting canceled.
I mean, yet again, like that's that public image thing that's sort of understandable.
Well, once again, it's why. Here's the thing. Okay, if you all want to know where I lean on the political spectrum, here's what I will say. I lean in the middle. I would say I'm probably more conservative than I am liberal, but I have some liberal leanings that even my dad, who is a more staunch conservative than me, for instance, my position on cannabis. Like, totally shocked my dad. He couldn't believe that I was, like, this way. And here's the thing.
I'll tell you, I took a test, if you guys really want to know, and I nearly fucking hit the dead center cross of the chart.
There you go.
But I'm slightly libertarian and to the left, apparently.
Yeah. There you go.
But, like, for the most part, I like to think about situations objectively rather than decide them based off of what side of the aisle I'm supposed to be on.
Exactly. And look, here's the thing. Like, not wanting to be political on stuff, like, that's being objective, and that's literally just, like, holding yourself back because there really is no right answer for some of these situations.
Yeah, there's not.
And the thing is just, like you're asking for, like, an impossible situation. And here's the thing. This isn't us, like, ball fondling The Rock or anything like that. No. I like The Rock.
I really don't care that much about him.
I think he's more good than bad, personally. But am I not going to call him out on his bullshit? No. I'll call him out on his bullshit. So I could call him out on his bullshit when he tried to lie and say that, he got gigantomastia because he's Samoan. No, you got gigantomastia because you took steroids. It's okay. Don't hide behind the veil of bullshit. Tell the truth. So don't think we're trying to like nut hug The Rock or anything like that because we're making excuses for him. No, this is literally like how in some ways we approach
To
things.
be honest, I still kind of agree with my old assistant manager. I kind of dislike the fact that CM Punk got done the way he did because of The Rock and everything. So I've never really thought of him as like a person I was a very big fan of. I thought he was pretty funny in the Jumanji movie.
Well, no,
But like I've never really cared for him that much.
Well, for me, when I
Not a
watched,
Fast and Furious fan.
I watched wrestling. I remember when The Rock debuted, man. I remember when The Rock debuted for WWF, and he had this pineapple top, like friggin' curly ass hair, came out with like this big smile on his face, just like trying to be Mr. White Meat Babyface. And he came out and he basically won the match. It was a 3-on-1. It was a 2-on-1 Survivor style match. Basically, if you get pinned, you're out. And it was a tag team thing. And basically, The Rock came back and won. And everyone, like, he was a babyface back then. So he's like, yeah, I did it. And people hated him for that. They hated him so much because he was trying to be this white meat babyface and people didn't want a babyface. So he got sick and tired of hearing people chant "Die Rocky, die." Literally, there were shows he would show up and he would walk out and people would be chanting "Die Rocky, die." They would have signs up that said "Die Rocky, die." Damn. So he got on the microphone and he basically said to all you "Die Rocky, die" some bitches out there, I got one thing to say to you. I'm going to shove my foot so far up your ass you're going to be able to floss your teeth with my shoelaces. Basically just... He turned heel, and when he turned heel, he went from being Rocky Maivia to The Rock. And that's where The Rock was born. The Rock was originally a heel and was just a monster on the microphone. The dude, like, no one could touch him. He had them sunglasses on, that perfectly coiffed hair, raised up his right eyebrow, and looked like a friggin' titan in the ring because,
Wait,
like...
he had hair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Back in the day, The Rock had hair.
As far as I can remember, it's always been bald.
No. He shaved his head when he became Hollywood Rock. When he became Hollywood Rock in, like, 2004. But from 1994 until about 1999, he came back in 2001 and he still had hair. But when he left to go to Hollywood... For the Scorpion King, after that, he started shaving his head. And ever since then, he's been bald. And I would say the biggest thing with him is just, like, how he's, like, evolved. Because he started out as a babyface, good guy. Then he became a heel, was a heel for a very long time. And then the crowd started to cheer for him. When the crowd started to cheer for him, they were like, hey, maybe we should turn you face. And he was nervous about that. He was like, I don't want to be a baby face again because y'all saw how that went last time. He's like, but here's the thing, Rock. Keep doing you, but get behind what the crowd is wanting you to say and become... And basically, he's like, so you want me to be like the People's Champ? They're like, yes. And that's when he became known as the People's Champ. Because he was saying the shit that the crowd wanted to hear. And then when he left and he chose Hollywood over wrestling, which I gotta be honest, if Hollywood was going to pay me hundreds of millions of dollars to star in their movies versus getting paid like tens of millions of dollars to get body slammed every night, I'll take that. I mean, I'm not like, that's the thing. I don't hate The Rock for choosing Hollywood. It's a safer option. But at the same time, it's like he never really forgot what made him who he is, wrestling. I mean, and that's one thing I respect about him. But him, like, I saw this podcast, and yeah, he danced around a lot of stuff, but honestly, I wasn't dissatisfied with, like, his appearance on the podcast. Yeah, I know that Joe was trying to get some stuff out of him, but if The Rock doesn't want to talk about it, then he's not going to talk about it. That's just like me. Like, if Joe asked me about some things, I wouldn't talk about it. I mean, there's some things I'm not comfortable talking about. If you asked me some
things on here, I wouldn't talk about it.
Exactly. You see?
Certain things I'll just be like, let's not do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just would rather people, like, not be in a fucking uproar because we brought up a topic that's really fucking divisive.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to be happy. That's the thing.
That's the whole thing. There's all kinds of people watching this probably like, oh, he's going to say something that's going to get him in trouble. This is going to be good. And then they're like, oh, when he didn't,
Yeah.
It's like... Calm down.
Yeah, calm yourselves.
Not everything has to be canceled to be interesting.
Avoided controversy by controlling every topic, leading to other comments such as, Rock has asked Joe about 100 questions so far, and I don't think Joe has asked Rock a single one. Joe is doing all the talking about the same old shit and I'm about to fall asleep. The whole episode just felt kind of weird, not only because of Joe previously calling The Rock a steroid user, but because The Rock had also called Joe Rogan out himself. I thought The Rock disowned Joe during the whole N-word incident. Back in 2022, when Joe posted this iconic video, The Rock stood firmly behind him by writing, "Great stuff here, brother. Perfectly articulated. Looking forward to coming on one day and breaking out the tequila with you," although his support was met with backlash.
Yeah, and here's the thing, when, this, I would say that this is more like caught up in the wind of like all these people out here trying to go after Joe Rogan because he was like promoting ivermectin, which here's the thing, the fact that CNN lied through their teeth and like actually photoshopped Joe Rogan to look sick. Did you see that video? Yeah, they photoshopped Joe Rogan to look sick. And then, when that didn't work, then they had someone go back through all of Joe Rogan's old podcasts, and they heard, like, episodes, like, older episodes specifically, where Joe Rogan said the N-word. But here's the thing. It was always when it was in discussion of the context of the word. He wasn't calling anyone this. He wasn't saying it about anybody. He wasn't, like, saying, "Oh, man, Richard Pryor, he was such an N-word." No. He was discussing it openly with other people who brought it up, like Joey Diaz or Colion Noir and stuff like that. And basically, everyone just tried to use that as an excuse, and The Rock got caught up in the whirlwind of it. And then eventually, Israel Adesanya, who, by the way, is Nigerian, dude is from Nigeria, literally comes on and says, "Everybody talking this shit about Joe Rogan needs to leave him the fuck alone. That's my N-word Joe Rogan, alright? Joe Rogan's my N-word. So don't, it's like, as someone who comes from the motherland, just leave him alone." It's like, there you go. I mean, and The Rock, don't get me wrong, The Rock's part black, alright? The Rock's dad is, like, one of the, like, most famous, like, early black wrestlers from, like, the 70s. But, yeah, this whole smorgasbord right here of them trying to cancel Joe Rogan, and it wound up making him more popular. Because that's the thing, every time they tried to cancel Joe Rogan, his podcast just got more and more popular. And then now he's gotten paid even more money by Spotify, and now he's able to post the podcast anywhere he wants again.
And people were like, "Yeah, boycott the stuff that the podcast is on and everything." Didn't work, did it?
Nope. It only made it more popular.
It's like, I don't really care for him all that much myself. Like, I can do with or without him. There's some clips from his podcast that are fucking funny.
Yes.
There's a lot of shit he says that I don't agree with.
Yeah,
but he has insight on some things like working out and like UFC and stuff that is definitely not stupid because he has insight.
Yeah. Like, his podcasts with Joey Diaz always go off the rails because Joey Diaz is just like, "Joe Rogan, there was this one girl in Atlantic City where I lost a Hershey's bar up her ass." It's like, what? Joey? Ugh.
You're a hero to many people, and using your platform to defend Joe Rogan, a guy that used and laughed about using the N-word dozens of times, is a terrible use of your power. Have you actually listened to this man's many racist statements about black people?
Hey, Don Winslow, how about you go hop off a cliff somewhere, do the world a favor, and rid us of your nonsense?
Causing The Rock to fold instantly.
I hate when people do that kind of shit. Have you actually listened to this man's many racist statements about black people?
And here's the thing.
Typically, you share a fucking example when you're gonna make a fucking allegation like that. Like, if there's nothing more you have to say after that sentence, then you're fucking lying through your teeth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's the way that works. And you
yeah.
Go fuck yourself if you think otherwise.
Dear Don Winslow, thank you so much for this. I hear you as well as everyone here 100%. I was not aware of his N-word use prior to my comments, but now
I wonder why. Probably because it wasn't anything like he made it out to be.
Moment for me, showing hit K from the smallest bit of criticism. The Rock was the most sanitized, neutered, safe person I've ever heard audio of. Not one real opinion. He was like the breathing version of ChatGPT in 10 years. The Rock might be physically strong, but clearly has no public backbone. And nothing showed this more comically than his recent Maui controversy.
Oh yeah, this him and Oprah begging for money when they themselves are worth like hundreds of millions, and Oprah's worth billions of dollars. Like, that's just,
By fires, The Rock and Oprah launched the People's Fund of Maui, contributing $5 million each before asking the public to donate.
So we appreciate any support that you can give. What do I do? What do I do? This is what you do. The People's Fund of Maui.
The comments have since been turned off completely, yet they once echoed the sentiment, math ain't mathing with this one. You guys literally have so much money. You can donate it and make it back within a year. Now, The Rock didn't need to respond. His $5 million donation was already extremely generous.
Yeah, that, like, honestly, if I'm The Rock at that point, I'm just like, okay, apparently people don't like the fact that we're asking for help on this. Maybe we should have asked our rich Hollywood friends for help instead first, and then after, like, we guarantee, like, there's at least $30 to $50 million going to the relief fund, then we can open up the public floodgates and be like, hey, we've already got a $30 to $50 million head start on rebuilding Maui. Like, we want, and, you know, we had a lot of our friends donate on this. Now, the public, if you all wish to donate, we would greatly appreciate it. Instead of, like, being like, give us money, please.
Yeah.
Like that, once again, not the approach I would have gone for.
Yet once again he couldn't handle the backlash and uploaded a video claiming he'd done the wrong thing.
When we first launched the fund, there was some backlash, and I want to address and acknowledge that backlash right now. And here's what I have to say about that. I get it, and I completely understand. And I could have been better. And next time I will be better.
The Rock doesn't even feel like a real person anymore. He's basically just a walking business, with the whole walking billboard mentality becoming increasingly obvious.
He most likely has a PR manager that told him what to say for that.
Yeah. And here's my thing is, like, for certain things, I would, like, I would do that for certain things, but I would also want to do some things myself. I would also want to, like, communicate as a real person. But,
like, to be honest, like, I kind of see behind the scenes in my head as him being, like, I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal like a superhero, but you see, like, the superhero movies they've done recently, and not even some of the dark ones, you know, like some of the ones like The Incredibles and stuff like that. I think stuff like where, you know, they have people who are managing them and being like, you know, we need to address this because the public's not going to like that and stuff. He's kind of in a position like that.
Well, yeah.
Where, like, he's a monetized individual.
Well, yeah,
and if he wants to remain a monetized individual, he kind of has to do what his management and PR people that, you know, he has hired tell him to do.
Because that's the thing. He has not... It's not just his own personal investments. There are tens of thousands, if not, like, maybe hundreds of thousands of other people invested in him. And if his bad PR...
He's, like, a face of WWE, so, like...
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. He's like... one of the head faces of WWE now, like on the TKO board.
I get why people would be frustrated with this. It does make him a less interesting person, for sure.
Yeah, I get it too, but I don't know. It's just a world that I am completely not in and never will be in because I'm way too far outside of the space of this.
I'm just kind of trying to look at this from both sides a little bit. As
I am
best
too.
I can, you know, like
I am too.
At least from educated guesses, as best I can. But yeah, I get it. Like, why people are mad. So.
He only has one mode, and that's sales mode.
For example, he simply had to celebrate his sold-out wrestling match with a massive swig of tequila. And what about the drink of choice for his first time trying In-N-Out? Well, again, 2 straight shots of his own brand of alcohol. Not exactly believable.
I did not know that
was
was
what about
his.
this whole
Terramana? Yeah, that's his.
Yeah, no, I had no
video
idea.
where he pulls
You
up
had
to
that
a
upstairs. I just thought it was the random tequila.
Yeah. Well, no, Chad brought me that bottle. Chad gave me that bottle for, like, my birthday. Along with, like, a Rock, you know, the Rock, like, action figure from back in the day.
bus. You guessed it, it's actually an ad.
We're building our second distillery, and we are the largest employer of everybody in Jesus Maria. I love Jesus Maria. Thank you, brother. Did you try the tequila?
By scrolling to any part of his Instagram, you can see that around 75% of his posts are sponsored, and the nickname Dwayne the Ad Johnson is therefore perfectly fitting.
Well, it's free money. Here's the thing. We don't do ads that much, but here's the thing. When we do ads, we at least try to get something that's going to improve our setup. For instance, these chairs. The reason why we have these nice theater seats is because we took on the responsibility of doing an advertisement. And we did it, and it came out pretty good. And the people who gave us these chairs really liked what we did. And honestly, we got 2 amazing chairs out of it. I wish we could have got 4. I wish I could have negotiated with them and got 2 more, one for me and one for an extra guest, beside Nick. But still, I cannot complain about this. But yeah, The Rock, doing ads, if he's advertising his own stuff, like Terramana tequila or a whey protein powder that he's got, and it's self-advertising, okay. That's
I think people just wish he would do more in between that.
No, I get that.
And they would like to see him be a real person in between the advertising, you know what I mean?
I agree.
Instead of just every time he shows up, it's going to be just to be a walking billboard for something.
I get you.
That's how I would look at that.
And I think maybe that's something that he should do, especially now considering he's a board member of TKO and he probably won't have to do that kind of stuff anymore, because TKO, the better it does, the less bullshit he has to do promoting this stuff. Instead of promoting every 1 or 2 Instagram things, instead it'd be 1 out of every 5 or 6. And I think that'd be for the best, because I think the Rock, in terms of a person, is not as revered as he used to be. Instead, they see him as an advertisement now, because he's disconnected from the people. He's no longer the people's champ.
Yeah, people would like to see him still be that guy in between.
I would like that.
Trying to advertise his stuff.
I like that, because I think he's actually pretty funny.
This, combined with everything else, has severely wounded his image. However, his recent actions with the WWE have dealt the final blow. On the 23rd of January 2024, The Rock became a WWE board member and a voice for what takes place in the show. The Rock ensured the audience, "At my core, I'm a builder who builds for and serves the people," although so far he hasn't served anyone beside himself. How might you ask? Well, you'll need a bit of backstory. Roman Reigns was WWE champion for roughly 3 whole years, although it was hinted that the widely adored Cody Rhodes would be next to take the title. The two had a long-running feud, so their matchup seemed perfect, and Cody had just won the Royal Rumble, the winner of which normally goes on to face the champ. Well, after all the hype had built, Cody Rhodes unexpectedly told Roman he didn't want to face him, randomly subbing himself out for The Rock, who had no place in the story. Suspiciously, this was only 10 days after Dwayne became a board member, with many believing The Rock had simply written himself into their feud. The highlight therefore gained over 700,000 dislikes, being given the title of the most hated WWE move ever, since the highlight is now
That's
the
saying
WWE...
something, because I've heard of a lot of horrible decisions that have been done in WWE.
Yeah, and okay, I have something to say about this. I'll wait until Sonny's done making his point about this, and then I will give my take on it. And if you actually think about it, it could actually be seen as something of a fucking genius. Anyway.
His most disliked video. The backlash was so severe that the story was totally changed, with Cody successfully beating Roman in April, after which The Rock announced he was leaving. The story led some fans to state, "I swear I haven't watched this much wrestling in years, although The Rock's personal following hasn't been so healthy." Only 12 months ago, The Rock was gaining 5 million followers per month, although through everything discussed in this video, The Rock is now losing fans for the very first time ever.
Here's the thing. It's The Rock's social media, and I don't think The Rock really gives a shit. Also, here's the thing about it. You know this comment that this guy made right here? I swear I haven't watched this much wrestling.
Story led some fans to state,
I swear I haven't watched this much wrestling in years. So, here's my thing in terms of how I know wrestling and how I know how people can build angles. You have to understand, if it's a shoot or a work. When I say it's a shoot, it's something real. Whenever I say a shoot fight in the ring, these two guys have just said, fuck the story we're trying to tell, I'm going to knock this guy's face off. That's a shoot. A work is basically, they do everything in their power to make you think what's going on is real, but it's actually a work. Everything that you're seeing has been perfectly calculated to draw out the exact kind of emotion that you're wanting. And I guarantee you, whenever The Rock came out and took Cody's place right after the Royal Rumble, that is exactly what The Rock and the TKO and like the creative members like Triple H, Road Dogg, like all the producers that was involved with the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns feud, I guarantee you they came out and said, if we do this, it will draw magnetic heat for like how bad we're fucking Cody over, and it'll look like the establishment once again, much like how they did Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day. I want you to remember that now. Stone Cold Steve Austin, fucked over by the establishment, became the biggest star in the company's entire history, still to this day. And because of Stone Cold overcoming the establishment, overcoming Vince McMahon, overcoming The Rock, he became the biggest star in wrestling history. Cody Rhodes was the biggest babyface that we have had in a long time. Gets fucked over by the establishment, only for the crowd. Here's the thing, WWE. If you watched Roman Reigns during his time, whenever he was like on top of the world, and he was like, they were trying to push him as like the new babyface, and nobody wanted him. Everyone hated it. And even like him beating The Undertaker, him beating Brock Lesnar, him like basically going unchallenged when he was in that mode of like the babyface, like the big dog, I'm the guy, I'm the man in the ring. It's like him doing that stuff. Everyone was turned off by it, but yet WWE kept charging forward on that for a number of years and didn't stop. Didn't correct course once. But now, with this, drawing the biggest amount of heat they've drawn in a long time, turns everything around and makes it seem like that the crowd was the one that made the change. But in truth, it was something that they planned the entire time, because they knew by doing this, by fucking Cody over once again, much like how Stone Cold Steve Austin was fucked over, it would get the same reaction. Do you think it's coincidence? I don't think so. Here's the thing, I've been watching wrestling most of my life. Like the Attitude Era and, fooling the people, like the Montreal Screwjob, the Pillman's Got a Gun incident, all the stuff that they did to make you think it was real. They're doing that right now. They're just playing it smarter because of social media. They know the power that social media has nowadays. I mean, hell, WWE has 100 million followers on YouTube right now. They have 100 million subscribers on YouTube. And you're telling me that this company that has just had a changing of the guard, Vince McMahon, the old guard is gone, and only the new blood is there, and they're aware of how social media works? I think this was just it was a big screw job to make the people think that they overturned the decision of The Rock taking his place. And the original plan was always that Cody was going to face Roman at this year's WrestleMania again. That's my thought. Does anyone else think that? Because that's what I think. I mean, am I alone in this? I need to know.
I don't watch enough to really have an opinion on that one way or the other, because I don't watch it at all. So.
That's fine.
I mean, if I watched it, I would give an opinion, but I don't really have an opinion. But I will say, it's like my question to anyone who is like complaining about the way it's going, and I'm like hearing them complain, and they're giving me like all these details and stuff about every single thing that's going on, I'd be like, yeah, but are you watching it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are. Like, WWE's numbers now are the best they've been in like 5-10 years.
I mean, like, they may be doing a lot of things that are making you mad, but I think they do that on purpose sometimes, don't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They screwed Cody over last year, and that's the thing. They screwed Cody over last year in WrestleMania because Solo Sikoa came in, gave him like a spike to the throat, and Roman pinned him 1, 2, 3. And this was like, everyone was just like saying Cody Rhodes needs to finish his story. And after that happened, everyone was just like, I guess Cody's not going to finish his story, and Roman's just going to keep being champion. But then Cody kept winning. Because usually after WrestleMania, the person loses, they put the next person over for Roman Reigns to like have a match against. Instead, they played it smart, and they did a slow build for Cody to rebuild himself back up to being a main event contender again. And then when the Royal Rumble happened and he won, oh my Lord in heaven, that was like everyone knew what was coming. Everyone knew, but they wanted it because Cody, after what happened with Cody Rhodes, him being washed out of the company because of like bad management, going to AEW and forming WWE's biggest competition in over 20 years. And also, not only that, but after Cody's father, Dusty Rhodes, dies, then Cody comes back to the WWE, is more popular than ever, and is now literally like overtaking everything in terms of like popularity, in terms of like what a wrestler is supposed to be. It's unbelievable. I mean, and Cody's story has always been great, and Cody is the underdog that everyone believes in because he's just that good. Like, watching him in the ring it's magical. And the dude is like one of the best pure wrestlers ever. I mean, he's not a full spectacle wrestler. He's not The Rock. You know, The Rock's like a spectacle wrestler. And when he comes in, his presentation is always just like I'm The Rock. That's all I gotta be. Instead, Cody Rhodes goes in there and he's like, I'm gonna put everything on the line to beat this son of a bitch, and I don't care who gets in my way.
I mean, I could totally see behind the scenes like The Rock also just being like, yeah, I'll take a hit to my reputation just to pull that over. That sounds like something that would be really, really big, you know? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know that much about the whole situation and stuff, but it doesn't sound unbelievable to me that it could have all been the plan.
There's Cody's entrance. Yeah, Cody Rhodes' entrance at this is in France, by the way, Lyon, France. Probably have to mute the audio of this because WWE hates like this, but him coming out. Crowd knows his song front to back. Crowd is here, about to blow.
Motherfucking Steve Fox looking ass.
Yeah, but every time the whoa happens in his song, the crowd just knows it.
You know who Steve Fox is?
Steve Fox?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Oh boy, we're about to see it.
Tekken.
Yeah, I can see it. He is a Steve Fox.
Steve Fox is a boxer, but
well, yeah. Well,
like,
Cody,
especially like with the cape and stuff. I was just
that
looks like a Steve Fox outfit.
Yeah,
from Tekken.
Cody, he's known as the American Nightmare. Like this, like his entrance here was awesome, but also his entrance at WrestleMania when he came home at 38. Oh my God.
To be honest, if Hollywood was going to try making a Tekken live action, he would be a perfect Steve Fox pick.
I could see it. And Cody's a big gamer, so he'd be down for that. Like, he talks, like, or not, WrestleMania, WrestleMania 38. Yeah, there it is. Cody's return at WrestleMania 38. And basically, the crowd knew it was him, too. Just from his voice. Wrestling has more than one royal family. And his raising up out of the stage here, yeah, just so cool. God. And then of course, Hell in a Cell, his blown pectoral muscle. Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. That is easily, like, if you want to talk about, like, someone who loves wrestling, someone who's willing to put everything out there because of his love for the art of wrestling, Cody fucking Rhodes. Like, the blown pectoral muscle and everything. Jesus. Just that one there hurts me because the Singapore cane right to the friggin' pec. Oh. Anyway, yeah. So that was The Rock is losing hundreds of thousands of subs on Instagram, or 100,000 followers on Instagram, and yeah. Honestly, little cherry picking here and there, but I can see why people could not like The Rock. It's okay if you don't like The Rock. It's cool. But me, personally, I think there's more to it. And The Rock is presenting himself, and I think he's presenting himself as, like, in terms of a marketing scheme, he's trying to get as much as he can out of it. But now that he's a board member for TKO, I hope he has like a more realistic approach of doing stuff, because hopefully now he doesn't have to do that shit where he's a certified board member and has stock options and everything, that he doesn't have to do as much self-advertisement on Instagram and stuff. But I guess we'll see. Anyway, I think that's going to do it. We've yammered and rambled on enough. So, anyway.
Surprised. I mean, I guess it's mostly your knowledge that allows it, but I was surprised we were able to go this long in a video about wrestling when I don't really know much of anything about it.
Well, shows you how much I know and how much I'm willing to talk about it. I fucking love wrestling, dude. I mean, that's why I take chair shots to the head and to the back for this shit. And, get big booted to the face and get rock bottomed. Yeah, Marcus gave me a rock bottom. That was fun. He told me I remember talking to him. He's like, how big do you want to go? I'm like, dude, I'm gonna jump as hard as I fucking can. You get as much height out of it as you can. And he planted me on the fucking mat, flat back. And then Sledge came up and teabagged. I'm like, and I couldn't move either because I was selling the move. And as soon as Sledge stepped over me, I'm like, you motherfucker, don't do it. And he started teabagging like, God damn it, Sledge. And he knew it as soon as he got back there. He's just like, how you like having my nuts in your face? I'm like, Sledge, you're lucky I didn't fucking punch you there, straight up. But I was like, ugh.
You're just like, huh. Headbutt him in the balls. Make it look like a spasm, but just like, huh. Just headbutt him in the balls a little bit. And I'm like, oh!
Just like, that would have been good. That would have been good. But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna do it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I guess we'll see y'all on the next one. Take care. Peace.